Hello and welcome to part 2 of U.S. military force structure. In this part, we will focus on the Army. Looking back at our triangle of planning and operations, we will now be transitioning to the right side of the triangle. Heading to the Army's official website, we find this interactive graphic. The Army as a whole is broken into 3 main categories. Category 1, Train, Man, and Equip commands called Army Commands. These organizations don't go fight wars, but they do have most of the Army's warfighting resources. Why? To make sure that they are at the greatest level of readiness in the event a COCOM commander requests their capabilities. Clicking through the interactive tiles, you can see what each command's purpose is. Category 2, and would you look at that, there are those service component commands again. The formations in black are the organizations that persistently provide personnel and equipment to COCOMs, and thus are only under the Army for administrative purposes, i.e. ensure Army personnel can operate on the daily to meet the COCOM commander's needs. Category 3. These formations are called direct reporting units because each reports directly to the Department of the Army in the Pentagon, and each is highly unlikely to be fully deployed in support of a COCOM. Why? Because they are the functional formations that keep the Army's global operations on track 24/7. They do the daily trench work for the Department of the Army so that the first 2 categories can fight and prepare to fight. Okay, enough jabbering. Let's get down to the things that most people think about when someone says, I'm in the Army. These warfighting units are broken into 2 categories, conventional forces and irregular forces. USASOC is the Army's service component command to SOCOM and houses the Army Irregular Forces. We won't address these formations because YouTube channel Life as a Special Operation covers USASOC pretty well. Check out his videos in these links. Also, we won't address the Army Reserve and the Army National Guard in this video because YouTube channel The Chieftain covers this in his video about the, quote, many armies of the United States. Note, he is an armor officer in the National Guard, if that fact helps his credentials. What we will address are the active duty conventional forces, which by and large fall under the purview of FORSCOM. The Army's conventional forces are currently broken into 1st Army for mobilization and training, 3 functional commands, and 4 warfighting corps, pronounced corps when singular, not corpse. There are no zombies here. They are the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 18th Airborne. Each corps has a number of different units under its direction to ensure modern combined arms effects can be layered against enemies of the United States in the event of war. The lone exception is 5th Corps, which currently has no units administratively assigned to it, but again, we'll clear that up when we talk task organization and regionally aligned forces. The 3 functional commands are 1st Security Force Assistance Command, SFAC, 20th Support Command, SBIRNI, to deal with chemical, biological, radioactive, nuclear, and/or explosive threats, and the 32nd Army Air and Missile Defense Command, AAMD. These commands oversee the Army's special combat and security assistance capabilities. The newest is 1st SFAC, whose 5 new Security Force Assistance Brigades, SFABs, have persistent overseas presence in countries who seek advisors and assistance in improving their sovereign defense capabilities but don't want a U.S. combat brigade sitting in their country. Under 1st Corps are 7th Infantry Division, overseeing the brigades of 2nd Infantry Division, 25th Infantry Division, 17th Field Artillery Brigade, the Triple Nickel Engineer Brigade, 201st Expeditionary Military Intelligence Brigade, 593rd Expeditionary Sustainment Command, 62nd Medical Brigade, 42nd Military Police Brigade, and various other administrative groups and departments. Note 2nd Infantry Division headquarters is under 8th Army in Korea as part of the combined ROK U.S. Division, which oversees U.S. brigades who rotate to Korea. Again, more on that when we talk regionally aligned forces. Under 3rd Corps are 1st Infantry Division, 1st Armored Division, 1st Cavalry Division, 4th Infantry Division, 3rd Cavalry Regiment, 75th Field Artillery Brigade, 13th Sustainment Command, 36th Engineer Brigade, 504th Expeditionary Military Intelligence Brigade, 89th Military Police Brigade, 11th Signal Brigade, 1st Medical Brigade, and various other administrative groups and departments. Under 18th Airborne Corps are 82nd Airborne Division, 101st Airborne Division, 10th Mountain Division, 3rd Infantry Division, 18th Field Artillery Brigade, 20th Engineer Brigade, 3rd Expeditionary Sustainment Command, 525 Expeditionary Military Intelligence Brigade, 35th Signals Brigade, 16th Military Police Brigade, 44th Medical Brigade, and various other administrative groups and departments. Now we'll drop down to divisions, and this is where a lot of people will start to become confused by Army heraldry and nostalgia. Most Army units retain their World War I and World War II designations more for the sake of history than accurate functional descriptions. Here's what I mean. 2nd Infantry Division is a Stryker armored personnel carrier formation, while 25th Infantry Division has a mix of infantry and Stryker brigades. 10th Mountain Division is a light, which is foot or truck mobile division, while 1st and 3rd Infantry Divisions are armored formations, not infantry. Also, both the 82nd and 101st are called airborne, but only the 82nd Airborne Division actually jumps out of planes. They're the only actual airborne division. So really, when talking about the capabilities of divisions, there are 3 things you have to accept. 1. The name really means nothing right now. 2. Their structures are always changing to meet threats. How divisions look today is not how they looked 5 years ago, and won't be how they look 5 years from now. 3. What a division really is the headquarters that coordinates the actions of multiple combat and combat support brigades. It's that simple, and yet that complex. Rather than talking about the composition of each division, we will instead talk about the 6 brigade types that make up the core of any current division. Infantry Brigade Combat Teams, IBCTs. They are the light formations of the Army and are currently the most numerous brigade type in the Army. These formations move long distances in trucks called FMTVs or JLTVs or LTAVs or Humvees, but fight on foot. They are also the bedrock of airborne, air assault, and mountain infantry units. Armor Brigade Combat Teams, ABCTs. They are comprised of, among a host of other equipment, 87 Abrams tanks, 152 Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, and 18 Paladin self-propelled howitzers. These constitute the hammer of the American Army. Stryker Brigade Combat Teams, SBCTs. These are the middle ground formation of any armor maneuver force. Thankfully, YouTube channel Battle Order has recently made a video that lays out SBCT formations and capabilities, so please visit this link to understand not only how SBCTs are organized, but it also gives you an idea of how ABCTs and IBCTs are organized, albeit those brigades have different equipment. Field Artillery Brigades bring in long-range fires with MLRS and HIMARS rocket systems. Aviation Brigades bring in Apaches, Blackhawks, Chinooks, and Gray Eagle UAVs. Sustainment Brigades bring all the beans, bullets, and fuel to make it happen. All other combat support and combat service support units are battalion echelon or smaller in size, which we won't cover in this episode. Now, onto the dreaded task organization conversation. Since 2005 or 6, the Army has not fought in divisional formations. The Army has deployed capabilities in brigade or battalion-sized units under the modular force construct. This means units are regularly detached from their organizational higher headquarters and temporarily attached to different higher headquarters for specific missions. This action is called task organization. When the Army identifies a unique task, it needs task-organized units from different formations to make task forces. In order for this to make sense, we must return to part 1 of this episode and continue to make some stuff up in the CENTCOM area of operation. Okay, here we go. Again, this is all made up for the sake of an example. Let us pretend a major event happens in northern Syria where CJTF OIR suddenly needs ground forces to deal with a situation. The CJTF commander informs the CENTCOM commander, who submits the requirement through the Global Force Management process. Note, here's our Chilling with a Fox number 2 Jopes and Apex video happening at warp speed. Back to the storyline. The President, with advice from the National Security Council, authorizes, the Secretary of Defense allocates those resources, the Joint Chiefs of Staff apportion those resources, the Secretary of the Army, with advice from the Chief of Staff of the Army, assigns those units to the CJTF mission, and FORCECOM ensures that those units move forward appropriately. And now, for the task organization plot twist. Based on the northern Syria situation, the DoD determined the 82nd Airborne Division headquarters will deploy to aid the CJTF commander and staff in coordinating ground operations. With the 82nd Airborne Division, will deploy the entirety of 1st Brigade 82nd IBCT or Parachute Infantry Regiment, it's known as both. But because the operation will need enhanced fires, armor, and mobility, battalions from other Army units will be task organized to form an additional BCT. 4th Infantry Division's 1 SBCT, minus its cavalry squadron and 49 Infantry Battalion, will form the core of the BCT and will be accompanied on deployment by 164 Armor Battalion from 3rd Infantry Division and 327 Field Artillery Regiment from the 18th Field Artillery Brigade underneath 18th Airborne Corps. The 82nd Airborne Division Commander will have operational control, or OPCON, over all response forces and can organize them as the task requires. As such, 2 BCT task forces are formed around Task Force Red and Task Force White. Task Force Red will be led by 182 Commander and comprise 1504th PIR, 2504th PIR, again, Parachute Infantry Regiment, 138 Infantry Battalion from 14 SBCT, 373 Cav Squadron, and Organic Fires and Support Elements to 182 Airborne Brigade. Task Force White will be led by the 14 SBCT Commander and comprise of 164 Armor Battalion from 3rd Infantry Division, 2501st PIR from 182 IBCT, 2 23rd Infantry Battalion, and Organic Fires and Support. 327 Field Artillery Regiment from 18th Field Artillery Brigade will be directly under division control via Division G3 and 3-4 fires. If your head is about to explode, that's normal. But here's the hard truth. This is how every army on the planet works. When we do our Order of Battle video or series of videos, this concept will be discussed to the nines. The U.S. military and militaries of the world operate in small Lego blocks that can be put together to make an array of formations designed to accomplish specific tasks, hence task organizing, task forces. These concepts are what underlie and enable regionally aligned forces. The Army has aligned units to COCOMs so that when a combatant commander needs something, forces can quickly deploy because they are already aligned. For instance, 5th Corps is aligned to USAR or AF, and oversees Army brigades who conduct training and operations across Europe. 2nd Infantry Division does the same thing for brigades aligned to support the Korean theater of operations. Both headquarters operate as advanced parties to get incoming units quickly oriented to their mission set. I hate to say it, but I don't really hate to say it. The more you watch this 2-part episode and understand its concepts, the more likely it is that you're going to be able to understand the mid to advanced level military operations that are occurring globally, and thus be a truly good 35 Fox. So until next time, take some ibuprofen for the headache we just gave you, stay safe, and God bless.